Going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio, back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about the Washington Commanders. And today is Tuesday, August 30th, meaning today was Cutdown day. The squad got down to its final 53, so I had to go bring the heavy hitters out on the pod today. I got my guy Rico from Street Scores in right now, and we got Lou popping in at any second. What's going on, Rico?
What's happening with you, man? I'm excited. Football time. Roster looking a little crazy a little bit. We're going to dive into it, but I'm excited.
For sure. Roster is looking a little crazy right now because it's very obvious that there's a couple positions that we're still going to be hitting up very soon, because there's some positions that there is no depth at all. Like, you can say as a fan that we lack depth, but there's no depth at a couple positions on the roster right now. And
the Cowboys have one quarterback though.
This is true. This is true. And who else could it be but our man Louis T? Welcome to the show, big dog. You good? Oh, Lou not in, y'all. Let me put him back. Let him get set first. But, okay, first glance reaction at the roster. What immediately stuck out to you?
Well, I'm going to start with the positives, and I'm pretty sure somebody else is going to take the other answer, so I'm not going to take it. The tight end groups, man, I'm really excited. I'm happy that we kept 5. I thought we were going to only keep 4, and so that allowed Armani Rogers and Curtis Hodges to make it, man. That was huge for me. That was my favorite part. Of course, outside of Brian Robinson, that is my favorite part of the roster right now as far as the reveal of the 53-man initial roster, not the final roster, but initial.
That's a very, very good point that you emphasized initial roster, because I don't think a lot of people understand that. But, Lou, you with us, man? How you doing tonight, big dog?
I'm doing well, Rio. What's up, Rico? What's good with y'all?
What's going on, man? We're 12 sleeps away from regular season football. As we were saying, the roster look a little nuts right now, but it's not the final roster. It's not a depth chart. What were your immediate takeaways from the 53-man roster today?
First of all, I like to give people their flowers while they can smell them. I'm going to go ahead and bow down to Rico, because Rico told us about Armani Rogers like 6 months ago.
Definitely told us.
Right? Like, he kept beating Armani Rogers' drum to death. And I'm yo, this dude is not making the team. And it took like 19 injuries, but the dude took full advantage of the opportunity. Facts. I've been so impressed with him, and Rico was on it from Jump Street. So I got to give you credit for that off the rip. But
appreciate that.
No doubt. The roster is pretty much what I thought it was going to be. You know, obviously there's a couple of things that I didn't see coming. I didn't see 5 tight ends, right? But I've talked about this as to why I think it's 5 tight ends and why it's 5 linebackers. I think they did that to build in the fat that they need so that when they go, because I think we're going street sweeping, right? We're going to find us 1 or 2 corners, because there's no way they're comfortable going into the season with 4 corners, and the 4th corner being
Christian Holmes,
right? A 7th round rookie that did not look all that impressive in game action. They talked about how impressive he was in camp and in practice. That's cool. I watched him in the games. I didn't walk away saying, "Oh, we got to steal." How we talked about Cam Curl, back in 2020. I didn't feel that way.
I didn't either. You know what I'm saying? Him and DeJohn Neal was out there getting their shit cooked versus the Ravens.
Absolutely cooked. So I'm like, ain't no way they comfortable with him being the 4th corner, right? Because literally we saw Benjamin St. Juste last year. We saw him early in camp. We're 1 injury away from
disaster.
Literally Christian Holmes being in the game and playing meaningful snaps. There's no way. And Ron said it 3 or 4 times in the presser, we're not done yet. I know you're not done.
I know. It's very cool.
Okay?
I'm not
I
sure
bet.
I've ever seen a roster with 4 cornerbacks on the initial final 53.
It's rare, man. It's such a big position. Like after edge rushers, what's the next best or most important position on defense? The corners.
Yes, the cornerbacks.
Right. Like
and
you can sit here and mull over the linebackers, this, that, and the third, but the corners are what's ultimately going to save you if you don't get home with the pass rush. So I imagine that they kept the 5th tight end, Curtis Hodges, because the first guy that they find, they're going to have to, cut someone to make space. So it's either going to be, to me, it's either going to be Dejon Harris at linebacker or it's going to be Curtis Hodges at tight end. So you had to build that in, because if you don't build that in, knowing that you're going to go sign some guys off the street, then you're going to have to cut somebody you actually want. You know what I'm saying? So they, in order to keep that cushion that they need, you add in a couple of guys that you can trim off, because nobody's checking for Curtis Hodges, right?
Nobody.
Nobody
at all, bro.
Man. Nobody's checking for Dejon Harris. Like, you can sneak these dudes onto the practice squad with ease. So I know what they're doing. It's all good.
When I seen the name Dejon Harris on the final roster, it definitely made my eyebrows perk up a little bit, because I was like, damn, I don't even remember watching that man practice, and I went to 7 training camp sessions. Right, yeah. I don't recall a play he made this summer. I saw Khalil Hudson get cut. That definitely raised some eyebrows. I mean, he hasn't really done much of anything in his time here. He flashed a little bit during camp, but the tight end thing, you're definitely right. The first person to go off the roster is going to be Curtis Hodges, because we don't need 5 tight ends on the roster, despite the fact that all of them have been on the side field so far. I'll start with you here, Rico. The running back room, the decision to keep Jonathan Williams over Jarrett Patterson. Talk to me. How did that make you feel?
Man, that was a really interesting one, and I know this fan base is up in arms about that one, especially with Jared Patterson being a DMV guy. But, I mean, we knew in training camp that Jonathan Williams was above him on the depth chart. Even when they came out with their first unofficial depth chart before the preseason, Jonathan Williams was above him. And even though he looked great out there and he could potentially add some return value in kickoffs and things like that, Jonathan Williams was clearly their guy, especially based off of what he did towards the end of last season. So I'm not surprised, but I see why a lot of people are angry for sure.
Hello.
So I knew that Jonathan Williams, I had predicted him on the 53-man roster once the Brian Robinson situation happened, because they wanted a guy that could be the backup to Antonio Gibson. So that was the whole premise of drafting Brian Robinson in the first place, was that they gave Jarrett Patterson an opportunity last year to be the backup to the first and second down primary running back. And they didn't really like the production they got out of him. They view him more as a third down back, a replacement for JD McKissic. So I figured they would go with another first and second down, big physical in between the tackles type of runner to back up Antonio Gibson, and Jonathan Williams fits that bill. So I wasn't shocked by that. I like Jared Patterson, but clearly they didn't love him, or they wouldn't have drafted Brian Robinson this past draft. So I kind of saw the writing on the wall there. And I think he's going to be around. I think they're going to bring him back, put him on the practice squad. And if he clears waivers and all of that good stuff, I think he's going to be a guy that they'll feel good about. If they're in a pinch and they need to pull somebody up, they can pull him up.
Hell yeah. And salute to my guy, Big Money Sonny, for the $9.99 super. He says, salute to the mob, salute to the squad, salute to Louis, even though he likes baked ziti. Salutes to the homie Rico. He been putting in that work. And salutes to you, Rio. Salute back at you and appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
That's my guy, Big Money Sonny. What up, Big Money?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? How y'all doing in the chat? I see Sheen, Dre, Kondo, Mega, everybody in here. I see Almighty Finesse, who's a Giants fan, in here trolling his ass off the early right now. But the thing with the Jared Patterson situation, obviously it hits home for a lot of guys, because we love our local prospects. But ultimately that 4th running back on the roster is just the guy that's buying his time until Robinson is fully recovered. And speaking of Robinson, blessings and prayers to that young man. I don't know how that bullet somehow missed every tendon, bone, ligament in his body, and he fought a gun off one of these dumbass kids that tried to rob him. But to see him at the facility today, bring his Oreos to the running back room, and to still have a smile on his face, that is a blessing if I've ever seen one. That is God at work, and it's crazy. Like, to even imagine that he's going to still be out there and probably not as long as we thought it was going to be. That's nuts, man. But moving from the running back position, let's look to the wide receiver position. We knew the top 3 guys were locks. We pretty much knew, even though he didn't show up at all during preseason, that Diami was probably a lock too, and maybe Cam Sims. They rounded out the room with Dax Milne. Are you surprised they didn't keep 7 and keep Alex Erickson on the roster, or you thought it was going to be exactly how it turned out? I'll start with Rico.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about Alex Erickson not making it. Because first of all, him and Dax Milne didn't really impress me much in the return game in preseason so far. But at least Dax Milne had a really good track record this offseason of also balling out in practice and also showing something in preseason games. Alex Erickson actually looked like a better receiver than returner in the preseason game.
He did.
But the main reason, like, the last guy's making the team because of what they're going to contribute on special teams. Dax Milne is more than likely our starting punt returner. So I feel like that was obvious. And the reason we don't keep 7 is because, for the reasons we've already stated, we need to go and get some corners. I mean, we're scouting around for maybe even potential other linebackers, maybe. And so we just couldn't afford to. And I just think that just goes to show that they really believe Brian Robinson can come back sooner rather than later, because they easily could have put him on one of those lists and had another roster spot for another position, specifically Alex Erickson. But the fact that they didn't shows how fast they believe Brian Robinson can return.
Hell yeah, Lou.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I think once Ron made the declaration that Antonio Gibson was returning kickoffs, Alex Erickson was dead. That was over. The minute Antonio Gibson fumbled against the Panthers and Ron started putting his man all over the field, including returning kicks, Ron had already pretty much said, hey, Antonio's going to return the kicks, Dax is going to return the punts. Well, where does that leave Alex Erickson? Because the whole reason he was here was to be our special teams ace. If he's not returning kickoffs and punts,
what's he here for?
He's useless at that point. So the receiver room was one of the easiest to identify, even though Diami's had his struggles this camp and this preseason. They drafted him last year in the 3rd round. I mean, I say that, and I'm looking around the league, and it's a lot of dudes not making it that was drafted in the 3rd round last year. So he easily could have been cut, but I knew they weren't going to do that. Like, they still believe in him. They still want to give him an opportunity. And look, we can say what we want. He's still running by dudes, right?
He is.
He's still running by guys.
The separation's there.
Right. Like, I mean, if Sam puts that ball out in preseason game 2 versus the Chiefs a yard further, that's a touchdown. So he can still run. He can still do the thing they drafted him to do. I was never a Diami Brown fan from the standpoint of he was a one-trick pony at UNC. Yeah. All he could do was run the 9 route. So he's pretty much showing everything that I thought he was. But that one trick, it's a damn good trick, and I think he can still be useful in that regard. So I wasn't shocked by anything that we saw at the receiver position.
Hell yeah. If Diami can just pair his damn eyes and his hands to his feet, because the man separates. Like, he probably would have led the preseason in receiving yards and touchdowns if that Howell throw in game 2 was a little farther, like you said. And if he didn't try to fucking style on niggas with the one hand.
I don't know what that was.
I'm telling you, he had a girl at the stadium or something, bro. He tried to Odell it.
I'm gonna call that the Heineke effect. Because remember, Heineke got him blazed like twice already in the preseason.
Yeah.
And he was like, bro, I ain't effing around. Sam tried to get him earlier. Remember the one he dropped on the slant?
Oh, he alligator armed that joint.
That safety was coming down. He was like, bro, business decision. I'm making a team. I'm good, right? So he's like, I'm good on that one. He saw the safety on that deep ball. He was like,
preseason.
I'm good, man. I get it next time. You know what I'm saying? So I think Heineke kind of had him over there thinking about, like, hey, he got Cam Sims a concussion last week. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. So he was like, nah, I'm gonna pass on that one though.
My man definitely on that third down. My man said preseason. and then Joey Sly comes out the next play and misses a field goal. Mm-hmm. Are we concerned about the kicker position, or is it just preseason jitters? Get that shit out of your system right now, Lou.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with Joey Sly. And Ron said he just needs to calm down at the beginning of the games. He gets so amped up. That's cool. I don't want to hear that shit. But at the end of the day,
I don't either.
Yeah, that's cool. Just make the kicks. You know what I mean? And I think he'll be fine. He kicked really well last year for like 4 different teams when he came here. Other than the kicks that were blocked, he was really good. So I feel confident that he's going to be like, I feel like we're always the team that donates a kicker to another franchise that ends up being really good. I think finally we might be the one to get a guy that's bounced around and then he finds a home like after his 4th or 5th team. I'm hoping that's us with Joey Sly. I think he'll be fine.
I hope so, because we could definitely use some charity. We good on Sly, or you starting to worry, Rico?
No, I'm good. He didn't miss a kick last year except for the one that got blocked. And I mean, that whole he gets excited thing, that's so weird to me because it's like we're grown.
Don't
like, what does that mean?
Like that. Yeah, don't say shit to me like that.
He built like this too. He built like, I mean, he used to be a linebacker. Like,
right.
He looked like it.
Yeah, like it's just, I don't accept that as an excuse at all. But I'm confident from what I saw from him last year, more so than what I saw from him this year.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm not worried about the kicker. It pissed me off in the moment because, like, for a couple moments in that game, I just wanted to end this annoying ass streak because, first of all, we shouldn't be talking about a preseason streak of 23 games. It's absolutely absurd. It hasn't led to any regular season or relative success for the Ravens. Well, they've won some games, but it hasn't led to any hardware. I actually wanted to see us win that. And
I wanted it bad.
Diami and Sly definitely swang the pendulum the other way significantly in that game. Shout out my guy Jeremy. He said, don't miss one of y'all's video. The 3 best content creators out there. Keep coming with the best. Hey, Rico. Go Ducks, West Coast Commanders fan. Hey.
Oh, yeah, we're going to see week 1. If he's talking about Oregon, we'll see y'all.
Yeah, yeah. He's talking about Oregon. He's bringing up the college smoke. I got Joe Castles, my favorite YouTubers. Keep up the work, you guys. Appreciate you for the $4.99 right. Super. We got my guy Anthony Thomas in the building. He said he was at the Ravens game. Diami looked plain scared running across the middle. Every time he sent someone near him, he tensed up. We don't want to give guys excuses, but business decisions were definitely made, and with being a lock on the roster, had to have had some effect. I would hope so, because if that's what Diami's bringing this year, that shit ain't gonna cut it during the regular season. Here go my guy John, Garage Gym Life Media. Who do the 3 of you see getting added to the roster over the next weeks? Appreciate the super. That's a great question. I imagine we're going to sign a gaggle of cornerbacks. Like we're going to sign 2 or 3 of them motherfuckers. There's 4, like literally our corner that's not on the field when our starters are out on the field is a 7th round draft pick who was just looking like barbecue chicken in our preseason finale where he got the significance of his time. Where do we start looking when it comes to the cornerback position? Lou, you got any ideas?
I have the slightest idea. And to me, it can't be like a young guy in his 2nd year that just got cut. Like, we got lucky with Torrey McTyer last year. Call a spade a spade. This is a year in which they really feel like they can win. And I've made the case that you look around the NFC, like, who's really scary for real? Like, this is kind of an opportunity for anybody that's willing to step up. And so I don't think you can just trust anybody, you know what I'm saying, at the cornerback position. It'll be interesting to see if they go veteran, and like how veteran are you willing to go? Like a Joe Hayden might still be available. But I don't know if that's too old. That doesn't really fit what Ron has done. You know, he's really gone after younger players. So I'm anxious to see what they decide to do, because at least 2 corners probably are going to be signed, and one of them needs to have some semblance of experience in this league. So I don't have any answers for you, but I would like to think one of those guys would at least have some meaningful NFL snaps under their belt.
Oh yeah, Joe Hayden definitely has that local tie too, and Dan Snyder and company can't stay away from anything that's ever resided in the DMV. They could also think about bringing a guy like the people's cornerback, Jimmy Moreland. I know that'll make the fans happy because the fans definitely suited him for a gold jacket when he was on his way out of town. I imagine we look at some linebackers as well. I believe Schobert got released, Alexander Johnson, Jarrett Davis, who never quite lived up to what he was coming out of Florida in the draft. Rico, you got your eyes on any specific targets?
It's really intriguing. I feel like at this late, we'll probably try to, to Lou's point, we'll probably try to bring in somewhat of a veteran, but it kind of conflicts with the fact that Ron Rivera does prefer younger guys, unless it's like a Thomas Davis that he spent so much time with in Carolina to basically just be an on-the-field coach. Other than that, usually tries to bring in some younger guys. But again, with it being this late in the offseason, you're going to have to come in. You have less than 2 weeks of practice to get ready to play. Linebacker and corner, I think, is going to be somewhat of a veteran. I've always wanted Alexander Johnson from the Denver Broncos, even though he doesn't necessarily exactly fit what we're looking for. Like, if we're trying to look for like a true true run-stopping linebacker, he can do that, but he's more of like a running cover type of guy, kind of like what they tried to get in Nathan Gary a little bit, in my opinion. But I'm still a fan of his, and I would like to see him brought here, but I doubt it.
Hell yeah. My guy Barry with the $5 super said, I get Samuel and Dots are important receivers, but man, they're a great return man. That explosiveness at punt return can be super valuable. I get it. And maybe in an emergency Deshaun Jackson Eagles type situation, we could put one of those guys back there. But their roles on the offense are far too significant to be risking them, putting them at risk for injury and putting them in the return spot. You need a return guy back there. Let Gibson go do it. We've turned Antonio Gibson into Uncle Julie. I mean, like the father of everybody hates Chris. He does everything now. He don't just got one job now. He's been relegated to do whatever the fuck the coach says. So they done got him running punt team, punt return team. He's the primary kick returner. Those receivers, the top three, don't need to do nothing but play the X, Y, and Z spots. What say you guys, Rico?
Yeah, I mean, and even to the point right here, like, honestly, when healthy, if injury's not a concern, Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson, I feel like, are potentially our best potential returners, and Antonio Gibson in the mix as well. But these guys are very important to the offense, so I would love to see Antonio Gibson out there, even though the reason we're afraid to throw him out there at running back so much is because of fumbling, and that's a big issue on special teams. I feel like that goes a little under the radar as far as special teams returning wise. Like, you want him to be able to hold on to the ball. I mean, now he doesn't have big offensive linemen blocking for him. He has Christian Holmes out there trying to block somebody from tackling.
We killing Christian Holmes tonight.
Hey, that's all love, Sip. Hey, we ain't trying to kill you, bro. It's business, bro.
Hell yeah, man. But it would be absolute disaster if Antonio Gibson muffs a punt or a kick return, bro. It'll almost feel like, where the fuck can we put him at this point, man? Like, I don't know. Go ahead, Lou, close it out.
Yeah, I mean, y'all pretty much hit it on the head. I think the biggest thing is when you got playmakers like Jahan Dotson and Curtis Samuel, you want to utilize those guys as much as possible, but they're so influential in the success of this team offensively that you can't risk those guys. Again, like you said, we used to do it with Santana Moss. Like, we did it against the Detroit Lions one year where he went back there late in the ball game, returned it for a touchdown. Like, you can do that every now and again in a big spot, but you got to pick your spots, and you can't put them back there all the time. It's just too risky.
Way too risky. My man DeAndre, shout out to you, my guy. He said we on Landon watch. Man, Landon, I know Landon is just watching his phone. I wonder what he's up to right now, because he hasn't got sniffed around too much by the league right now, and we're thin in the secondary and in the linebacker room. I don't want him anywhere near the secondary, but would you bring back Landon Collins at this point, or would you see what our options are league wide before we do so? Because Landon been sitting there since the day we cut him. Anybody take it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're not bringing them back. If they were going to do that, they would have been done it, right? Like,
it seems like it.
the fact that they asked him to take a pay cut initially, and he agreed. Meant that they were interested in holding on to him. And then when the whole Carson Wentz trade went down, they asked him to take another one, almost as if they were trying to get him to say, nah, y'all just release me. And so he's like, nah, I'm not taking another pay cut, y'all crazy. So they cut him loose. And I think, honestly, if Landon would have been more receptive to playing the Buffalo nickel, essentially a linebacker role, if he would have been open to that and not having semantics about linebacker versus safety, I think they might have brought him back already. But they knew he wasn't happy, playing in that role, even though he flourished and he was way better at that than he was at safety.
Hell yeah.
So I think if he would have been less reluctant and more on board with whatever, with that, whatever the team needs me to do attitude, I think he would have been back a long time ago. But I think they felt that energy he had last year, and they're like, nah, we ain't trying to deal with that.
Hell yeah, getting way too spicy over the semantics of a position title, bro. You ain't gonna call me no linebacker. You ain't put no neck roll and no number 50 on me. Like, nigga, just play the position, man.
Neck roll. No, I completely agree. I feel like there's a lot of it has to do with the fact that they felt like they were pulling teeth with him. Even though he did shine, it just felt like it was too much micromanaging going on there, just trying to get him to accept the fact that he basically was a linebacker. But of course, I would hope, because he shined in that role last year. He was a big reason for that whole 4-game win streak that we went on. And I'm really excited about Derek Forrest and Percy Butler, but Percy Butler showed me in that Ravens game that he may not be quite where I need him to be yet. When he flashes very bright, but is he consistent? And then Derek Forrest has looked really good this offseason. But if you want a guy that for a fact can handle that responsibility, no issues, no inconsistencies, Landon Collins would be your guy. And we have spots open technically.
Oh yeah, and like jump into the safety position now. You can't be nothing but elated and happy for a guy like Jeremy Reeves, because he's not the greatest player on Sundays, but he's going to be one of the hardest working guys in the locker room. He plays with his head on. I call him the headhunter because he's trying to take dudes' caps off in practice, bro. Like, you remember we ran Ron 100K fine because Jeremy Reeves took the Army head off at an OTA's practice, man. Seeing Reeves finally make the roster, that safety room, other than McCain and Cam Curl, who also had a little bit of the same struggles that we've seen the defense have with the communications and stuff like that. How confident are we in the safety room? And is that a position that we may need to look at also, or are we good to go there? Rico.
I'm pretty excited about them. I feel like a lot of our problems in the preseason was that Jack Del Rio didn't want to show too much. The fact that I don't think we did one snap with 5 defensive linemen. Like, he went as vanilla as possible out there on defense. And I think the safety group, I didn't even look at the playbook the whole preseason. So I think ultimately, everybody's going to get better. I think once the defensive line, like Ron Rivera said, plays more discipline, they can get more pressure, stop allowing quarterbacks to scramble up the middle and things like that. Our safeties won't have to cover as long as they did, because Cameron Curl, that one time he really got beat in the Chiefs game, it was a couple of times, but one of them specifically was because the quarterback scrambled, then he had to cover for a longer time than he should have. And I just feel like the safety group overall, first of all, there's a lot of potential in the back end with Derek Forrest and Percy Butler. I'm very high on those guys. I'm not exactly sure if they're ready to play a lot yet, and they're definitely not ready to start. But I think they may potentially be our future along with Cameron Curl.
Hey, man. Lou?
Yeah, I like that room overall. I like the mixture of veteran presence and young boys that's out here hungry trying to get after it. So I think your bookends, with Jeremy Reeves bringing up the rear, who I thought was actually the best player on the team in the preseason. I thought he flashed just about every single game. Sack, had a sack in the first game, tackle for loss, 2 of them in the second game, another one last game before they yanked him out of there. I think Jeremy Reeves has been playing on a different level. He has a different understanding of the defense now. So I'm comfortable with him, being our 5th safety. And so, the young boys, and Butler and Forrest, anxious to see Forrest because this is year 2. I expect Percy Butler to be a step behind because it's all new to him, and so he's going to have to learn and grow and develop. and they just got to try to put him in positions to help him succeed at an early stage. But Forrest is in that second year. You're hoping to see that massive leap. They really liked what they've seen from him, and I'm anxious to see what he's able to do. I trust McCain and Curl, even though Curl had a rough go of it this preseason. I trust those guys to be where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there, and so I feel good about the safety position overall. I got no issues.
I feel good with the safety position as well. Good blend of veteran leadership and youth. Khalil Commanders with the $5 super set. Breaking news: they signed Darius Geist for 1 year. They cut Jonathan Williams. He said, "No, I'm just playing, but I can't wait for football." I can't wait either. But could you imagine what the shit show would look like if they signed Darius Geist back?
Oh no. Oh no, absolutely not. You want to talk about ghosts of Christmas past?
Oh my
that
would
God. Be it. That would be one right there, self-inflicted all day, every day.
Man, we thought we had one with Geist for real, man.
I did too.
That was,
man, I thought we had
that was bro. I thought we was about to have one of the top running backs in the league. And then his preseason debut when he tore the ACL, his first few runs were explosive as hell. Like he had like a big run, 2 stiff arms, and then
boom, ACL went. Yeah.
Yep, ACL went. Injuries kept coming, and some demons got exposed, alleged demons, because we weren't there, but it was very nasty stuff. We don't want to be a part
anything with Bruce fingerprints on it. We should have known that shit was gonna go awry. Bruce was way too happy about that shit. Traded back and got him and felt like we stole. Anytime we do that, remember Bryce Love? Like that was another one. Bruce was patting himself on the back for. Anytime we get something like that with Bruce fingerprints on it, we got to know that shit.
Yeah, every time they put a mic near Bruce Allen, well, NFL Network graded us an A+ draft with his drunk ass. Brucifer, man, good times, not good times at all, actually.
right.
Joe Castle said, "Everyone pray for Jackson, Mississippi. They ran out of bottled water and have no running water in their city." Man, definitely prayers up to them. I hate to hear stuff like that, man. I got my guys over at the Command This podcast. They said, "What up, Louis Rico?" Danny Johnson had to go. Burnt toast on stilts. We're going to end up with a Dijon Gomes like DB digging through the trash heap. I mean, I hope so. I knew shit was real when the first thing I read this morning was that Danny Johnson and Corn Elder got cut.
I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. Like there weren't many things. I said there won't be any shocking cuts, right? Because we don't have a shocking cut roster. Like we pretty much knew of the 53. You probably could decipher 47 or 48 of the 53 before the cuts were even made. Because our roster was pretty much intact. And so I was like, there won't be any surprise. Like De'Ami Brown isn't getting cut. Like there won't be any surprise like that. But I said, when I saw the 2 corners get cut, I was like, well, we already cut like Cannon Stribling and all these other anybody else that could have possibly Dewani, all these dudes gone. So I'm like
doing the numbers in your head like that,
4 corners left,
like that Zach Galifianakis gif. Like,
there's 4 corners left. Like, did I miss somebody? Like, am I not doing the right math? Like, because both of them were trash. For me, Corn Elder was like, he was the best of the worst. Like, he didn't get cooked, but he didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I was like, okay, maybe they just was going to let him slide, which is why I had him on the 53. They're going to let him slide because he was the best of the worst. But it was like, nah, he asked too, so he got to go.
Nah, I ain't even skip yours, bro. I definitely forgot to read it, though. Let me go back up and find your junk real quick, buddy. I got you, man. Hold up. I think he said something about linking with you because he's in the A now, Rico. But nah, I definitely ain't missed your super, man. My bad, bro. But yo, man, when I seen that though, I was kind of triggered for a second because I was like, what are they gonna do? Bring Dejon Neal back on the team? I was sitting here doing the math myself, like, yo, who are the cornerbacks? Like, what are we doing right now? It's just Christian Holmes and the starters, like. So where do we start Christian Holmes if one of the cornerbacks go down? Like, God forbid, like we put him on the outside, bro. He might be, that might be a rough day for us, my guy.
Yeah, no, that's why they have to do something because he can't play inside. He has to go outside, which means you would have to move Kendall Fuller inside. you know what I'm saying, in order to make that work. Because, I mean, if Benjamin St. Juice is healthy and they're going to, and I'm still nervous about that. Like, he didn't look good against the Chiefs inside. Like,
he did not.
I'm nervous about that experiment. So, yeah, man, I've been worried about the corners. I'm more worried about the corners. I don't know if there's a way they can put me at ease right now. They got to get to the quarterback, man.
They do in a hurry, and they got to actually get home because we see our boy Montez.
Yeah, man, he's fighting by himself, man. I feel bad for him.
He is, man.
Like,
but
that man almost got Patrick Mahomes like 5 times and won't nobody else even close.
That man he got to finish when he get there, bro. Like Montez, he gets to the quarterback as fast as anybody I've ever seen. He just don't always finish the tackle once he gets there. It's like that motor needs to slow down. But man, I'm looking at the linebacker room, and I'm sitting here with the linebacker room like, we got Cole Holcomb. We're running this shit back with Cole Holcomb, Jamin Davis, and David Mayo. That's easily one of the bottom few linebacker rooms in the league. And we got Harris and Milo Eifler behind them. What are we doing with linebacker, bro? Are we calling somebody up? Are we gonna give them the Roquan call? Are we gonna go get a linebacker from somewhere, or are we really running this shit back with a linebacker room full of unproven guys? What are we doing?
They running it back. Like, I really don't think they're going to do anything noteworthy. I mean, just think, the veteran signing that they told us about was Nathan Gary. Like, what was Nathan Gary gonna do? Like, we're not doing anything. Like, I believe in Cole. I believe in Jamin, right? And we know David Mayo can stop the run. Nothing else. So they feel comfortable with those 3 guys. I think where they get nervous is if anything happens to one of the first 2. You know, if they lose any athleticism, that's why they kept Milo Eifler, because they really like his athleticism. Okay, he's flashed all preseason. He's been all over the field, and he was here last year. A lot of people always like to make a joke about, especially Ed, about him not having a picture or any sound during the Sunday night game versus Cowboys. But he was here last year, right? So
unlocked character,
right? Exactly. That's what it felt like, right?
Hell yeah.
So he's got experience here with Jack Del Rio's defense. They like his athleticism. He had that big hit against the Panthers. I thought he looked really good against the Ravens on Saturday. So I like him, but again, like you said, it's an unproven group. It's not a lot of depth, and I think they're just gonna roll with it and hope that everything works out.
Hell yeah, man. And I'm looking forward to what year 2 Jamin Davis looks like, because the trajectory of that linebacker room almost fully relies on the shoulders of what Jamin Davis becomes in year 2. This is the super chat from my guy Fresh Montana. He said, the GOAT, the king, and the champion. Salute to 3 of the best. Going to the game in Dallas. He said, I'm in the A now. Link 91 vibes. Yeah, 91. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico, the linebacker room, man.
Yeah, we're running it back. And I'm actually really excited about Jamin Davis. He may never live up to first round pick, but I liked a lot from what I saw from him in the preseason. Yep. He was doing things in the run game that we just never really saw last year. Even last year, we were saying that he flashed. He had moments in coverage, moments blitzing that looked good, but now he's looking like a more complete linebacker. The game definitely looks slower for him. And most importantly, something I thought I'd never see from him is like physicality against fullbacks and offensive linemen and things like that. We're starting to see that as well. And I like the fact that, granted, it was against super backups in the Ravens game, but he flashed and they took him out. Yep. They were like,
that's it.
You did what you need to do.
Yep. Yeah. I said, look, the 3 dudes that was in the game that had no business being in the game, which was Juice, James Smith-Williams, and Jamin Davis, they all made a play right away, and they got him out of there. James Smith-Williams got in the backfield. That same play Jamin Davis made. He was the one that made that running back bow around him outside, and then Jamin cleaned his ass up for like a 2-yard loss. Juice had that pass breakup on that 3rd down. I was like, hey, they're done. Get them out of there.
But they're not supposed to be out here with these guys. It would be a bigger problem if they didn't make that quick flash. Because then you're like, bro, is this where y'all belong?
That's where Danny Johnson got cut. It was like, all right, Danny,
out there
you
all
ain't
game.
supposed to be out here. All right, make a play.
We waiting.
And Danny did.
Demarcus Robinson
down on that double move.
Demarcus Robinson
broke his ass off. He was starting at the 20. He was starting at the 20 all the way in. I said, God damn, he beat you that bad. That man high stepping at the damn dub.
That joint was bad.
That's rough.
The whole corner safety combo looked completely lost. Like Demarcus Robinson, they had this man looking like a Hall of Fame receiver on Saturday night. Shout out to
Danny Johnson. Might as well just kept running through the locker room. I don't even know why he stopped in the end zone.
Like Forrest,
just keep going. Yeah, just keep going, man. All the way home. All the way. You already know what's up.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Hell yeah, appreciate $4.99 from Commanders. He said they can go grab KPL and have a subpar linebacker reunion again, or trade Payne for Roquan Smith from the Bears. Both have expiring deals. Everyone wins. If you really want to put the cherry on top of this situation, John Bostic got cut today.
No.
That's Voldemort,
No.
He whose name shall not be said.
No.
That's Voldemort, man. We can't keep bringing that name up, man. That's negative energy.
Tell me you can't see Ron Rivera bringing John Bostic back and preaching culture and leadership and selling us on that bullshit again.
Ain't no way.
That we got our John Bostic on the roster. His name's David Mayo. We good, man. You only got space for one of them dudes. We got one already.
Hell yeah, man. That would literally upset me. But
that would cause a riot amongst the fan base if he did that.
Hell yeah. So moving to the offensive side of the ball, the quarterback room, not much to speak on. We know Wentz is the guy. We know for now Heineke's the backup. How impressed were y'all with Sam Howell's performance in the preseason? He led the preseason in multiple quarterback metrics, including passing yards, QB rating, stuff like that. How impressed were y'all of Sam Howell's performance in his first preseason in Washington? I'll start with Rico.
All right, well, first of all, the passing yards thing, he played more than most quarterbacks, so, but he still had to go out there and do it. And so I'm very excited about him. He looks like he could potentially be our quarterback of the future if Carson Wentz doesn't work out. Ideally, Carson Wentz works out. You make the trade. You're hoping. You don't really want to see Sam Howell starting for you until 2024 and beyond, maybe, if that. But he looked really good. He made his fair share of rookie mistakes.
He did.
Not taking all of his steps and his drops, not reading the field entirely well. But there's a lot of things. My main point with Sam Howell, there are things to build on. Short quarterbacks normally don't attack the middle of the field. Russell Wilson will not throw it to the middle of the field to save his life. And Sam Howell has that element to his game. You saw him stiff-arming 300-plus pound defensive tackles.
He's a dog.
Get loose. And he's not scrambling to run every time. He'll do it when it makes the most sense, and he'll slide, which is also important. We've seen, as Burgundy and Gold fans, quarterbacks not sliding, what that can do. But the most importantly, he scrambles to throw. The arm is real. The arm strength. Accuracy off a couple of times, but for the most part, there's some traits there that, first of all, he's further ahead in his development than I thought he would be. I thought he would be more raw than this. Still not ready, but there's some traits to build on that could potentially be a really good quarterback with him sitting for ideally the next couple of years.
Oh yeah, I don't want to see him this year. I don't want to see him next year, but I like what I saw. Lou,
only if we have like the number 1 seed and it's the 17th game. And he just like runs a half or something like that. Because
in that case, sure. I would love to see
that. Yeah, that's the only time I want to see him out there this year.
Right.
Life never treats us that well here, but Lou.
What's that, right?
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah. 2015 was the last time we was able to do something like that.
Hell yeah, that shit's crazy.
I went what Pat Mahomes did with the Chiefs, right? With Alex Smith, they were so good.
Yeah.
Playoff season sold up.
Yep.
Let Pat Mahomes go out there for the first time, got some meaningful experience, and rest is history.
Hell yeah.
I was really impressed by Sam Howell. The first thing I'm looking for with any rookie, regardless of position, is just you belong, right? Like this moment, this stage isn't too big for you. The speed of the game isn't too fast. He checked that box in preseason game number 1 versus Carolina. I thought he showed flashes in that game. and then doubled down against the Ravens in the third preseason game with his playmaking ability. That's the thing that I think has stuck out to me the most, is how many times did he get out of sacks? You know, how many times did he extend plays? Some to throw, some to run. I love the fact that he's mastered the, hey, I'm going to throw this bitch. If you don't jump, I'm going to bump it. I'm 5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Hell yeah.
Do this shit anyway.
That's veteran savvy.
Right, that's veterans. Like,
Yeah.
That's what Rodgers does. That's what all those
That's
dudes
huge.
do. Pump the hell out that shit, get you in the air, run right by your ass, get a first down. So he showed me so many different things that I said, wow, okay, these are some really workable tools right here we got. So I'm impressed. The arm is live. The athleticism and the wheels are real. And I think the playmaking ability, the off-schedule nature that he's able to bring to the table. I was worried about his size, and you did see that impact him a couple of times. But all in all, I was really impressed with him. And I want to see more, but obviously I want to see more next preseason. Next
Hell
preseason.
yeah. I don't need to see him in a regular season game. Fans wishing for that should definitely pump the brakes. And I was impressed with how, because he looks comfortable. Like, he comes from a pro style system. It doesn't look like it's a shock and awe for him to run a pro style system. He looks right at home in it. He looks like he knows where his reads are when the play starts. There were moments where he held the ball too long. It also has to do with the fact that scab O-line that was running with him in Baltimore on Sunday, they were trying to get this man's head taken off.
John Tall.
Oh my God. This nigga was running for his soul on Saturday. And he broke more tackles possibly than I've ever seen a Washington quarterback break in a game. He has that gamer dog mentality. You could see the starters rallying around him and getting hyped for him. I like the kid. He got some flavor to him. The arm is live. And I'm excited to see what kind of meat we have on the bone there a year or two from now.
Right.
No, 2 years from now. I don't want to see him this year, next year, because that means we had another dramatic failure in a quarterback acquisition, and I need Carson Wentz to take over. Did anything from this year's preseason deter you from what you expect from Carson Wentz in the offense? Because for me, I feel like the offense is the side of the ball we should be more confident in significantly, and I think they're going to be the unit that leads this team this year. Lou, do you agree?
Yes, I do. And no, to your question, I didn't see anything that would make me feel any less about Carson Wentz. Honestly, I try not to put too much stock into the preseason, period. Even the defensive struggles on third downs, like, you should have seen how many people were jumping off the ship after the Chiefs game when Mahomes went 5-5. And I'm like, y'all do know that's Patrick Mahomes, though, right? Like,
they
come
forgot.
on, man. Who else is running left, jumps in the air, and throws back sidearm to his right with two dudes with their hands up and goes right over their hand,
Filth.
right to the receiver? Like, nobody else is doing that. Like,
Absolute filth.
Filth is the absolute right word. It's ridiculous. So, you know, the touchdown, the second one that he threw, like, we killed Cam Curl.
Cam Curl.
He was right there, right?
That ball
Like,
was
you
just
can't
amazing.
be any closer than he was, and he put it right in there. Like, Mahomes is a freak. And so, look, I'm not telling you that the third down defense was good. It wasn't. But what I saw from the offense, so back on topic, the offense, I saw them, you know, same thing we talked about with the defense earlier. They're not trying to show you anything. Bubble screen left, bubble screen right, you know, 5 yard out, you know, dump it down, you know, same simple concepts, mesh concept underneath, you know, see if somebody comes open. They're not running anything that you're going to see, you know, on Sundays yet. So I thought he did a good job just managing, you know, the offense. I would like to see, there were two plays that stuck out from a negative standpoint that you would just like to see him clean up. The miss to Antonio Gibson against the Chiefs on that
for
second
sure.
and 5.
We needed that one.
It got to hit that. That would have gave you a fresh set of downs. You know, you end up getting a 3rd and 5. Curtis Samuel gets hit, ball comes out, and then it's incomplete. You got to punt. You complete that 7 yard out. It's a first down, and no telling what happens on that drive. And then obviously the sack. You know, you're in field goal range. It starts off with a Sam Cosmi false start, which is like, come on, guys, what are we doing? And then you get the sack, and you're out of field goal range. And so he had Antonio Gibson off to his left to just check it down and see what happens, and he didn't do that. And that was something that plagued him in Indianapolis. So you'd like to see him clean that stuff up. But all in all, I was impressed with Carson Wentz. You I feel good about him, but I try not to put too much stock in the preseason, man. Nobody's showing anything. You don't, just stay healthy. That's all I really care about in the preseason.
Oh yeah, look, my bad. I ain't mean to skip your super. You said, bro, said it's an emergency. Can you call him as soon as you get off live with the guy? I don't know the content. I don't know.
Hey, Rio, don't do it.
Okay. Is this trolling? Is this? I have no idea.
I'm gonna save you, bro. I was gonna keep quiet.
I have no idea what's happening here. That's why I went right past shit.
Don't do it. I'm gonna try to save you, bro.
I had no idea
he know he can get you in it.
Oh man, I was definitely about to go for it because I have no idea what he's talking. I don't even know who bro is, first of all. So I have no context.
Hey, he probably gonna kill me for telling you, but I couldn't let you go out like that, man. I couldn't let you go out like that because he got me like that before. I was like, all right, I got you, Luck. Yeah,
hey,
that's my guy, Luck, man.
I appreciate you for the heads up. But Quentin Ruiz with the 199 super. We talked about cornerbacks we'd like to see. I mean, we don't really have a specific list. I said maybe they could bring back the People's Corner or Joe Hayden for some veteran leadership to fill out the room because there's no room right now. There's the 3 starters and then there's a rookie 7th round pick. Is there a move like the one the Eagles made when they made a trade today, power move for C.D. Gardner-Johnson from the New Orleans Saints? Is there a cornerback that's currently frustrated with their situation or their contract that we could go out and get? Is there some solution we're not thinking of for the cornerback position?
I mean, I don't know what is out there, but again, it's hard. Like, safeties are so devalued in this league. I talked about that on my podcast. Like, you saw what the Eagles did. They swapped like late round picks for a guy that obviously the Saints had to pay him and they didn't pay him. And that's why he wanted out. And he's a really good football player. But safeties are devalued. Like I just talked about last offseason, four of the top safeties in the league had to go elsewhere to get their bread. It was like musical chairs at the safety position. You got the Houston Texans safety now in Kansas City. You got the Jet safety Marcus May now in New Orleans. They lost Marcus Williams. He's now in Baltimore getting his money. Like that's how the safety position is. Like teams don't like to overspend at that position. So corner is totally different. Teams aren't giving away good corners. You're not gonna just get a good corner for a 5th round pick and we swap 6th and 7th and stuff like that. Ain't no way. Like you're gonna have to pay for that.
And Red Wings, I definitely feel you. Joe Hayden can barely move anymore, but right now we're at the point where we may not have high standards, bro. If he could fill a uniform and he could go out that motherfucker and be a depth piece, we might have to settle for that, bro. All we got is Christian Holmes behind the starters, and we got Benjamin St. Juste coming off a season where he had 1,000 concussions in his rookie year. And Kendall Fuller gets banged up here and there. It's almost like a disastrous thought to think. Rico, is there any cornerback move you could see us making?
Man, I don't know. I mean, because even if I wake up tomorrow and see Commanders have signed Chris Harris at, I believe, 32, 33 years old, I'm not excited, but the move could make sense.
Right.
And Louis T, great point. Teams are not just letting good corners go. They're just not available. They're not out there. You're going to have to really give up quite a bit of value for one if you want one. And so ideally, maybe we bring in at least one veteran. Maybe the other guy is like a corner that was drafted high but ended up not working out.
Right.
Even like Merle said in the chat, like a Jeffrey Okudah, he was supposed to be an elite corner. It hasn't worked out at all for him since he's been drafted. Maybe you try to get a guy like that. But as of right now, I don't really see too many great options. No obvious options. Whatever we go out there with, I hope it works out.
I know. So somebody just hit me up and said this name, and I remember seeing this list of available veterans that were still out on the market before cuts were made. And Kevin King, he's 27. And Dylan just hit me up on YouTube and was like, go get Kevin King. I'm not a Kevin King fan, but you could do a hell of a lot worse than Kevin King at this point.
You could do Corn Elder or Danny Johnson.
Right. So I don't know what the issue is with Kevin King. He's 27. He's 6'3". He's got long arms. He can run a little bit, but he's not on the NFL roster right now. So clearly the league is spoken on Kevin King. But I mean, you got to do something, man. You know, could we get lucky like Green Bay did with the guy that had like 80 interceptions last year, who bounced around the league? What was it? I can't remember his name. It wasn't. I don't think it was Daryl Worley, or it was one of them West Virginia corners. And he had a bunch of pick sixes last year, and he was a journeyman corner. Like, and they lucked up. He had the game clinching interception against the Cardinals. Remember when they were undefeated on that Thursday night?
Hell yeah.
Kyler Murray threw him the ball when his AJ Green ran the wrong route.
Hell
like
yeah.
That dude, like, can we get lucky and find a veteran like that just
Rasul
happens to
Douglas?
have a career year?
Was it
Rasul Douglas, that's his damn name. Rasul Douglas from West Virginia had a ridiculous year with the Packers. Like,
the Packers got lucky twice because the linebacker too that made all pro like came out of nowhere. I don't know what the Packers did last offseason.
Yep. That's what I'm hoping we find a dude like that, but that usually doesn't happen to us.
It doesn't usually happen to us. And shout out to Tim for the $2 super. He said, looking forward to Gibson stepping up big time. Gibson, he gets a bit of a mulligan now with the tragedy that happened to our presumed starter, Brian Robinson. He gets a mulligan at the number one running back job, and we're going to have to depend on him very heavily early in the season. What are we expecting out of Gibson, and is he going to be able to put some of this stuff past them and actually ball out to the ability we know he's capable of? Is he going to be able to get out his head, hold on to the football, and find the holes decisively? Lou, Gibson.
I am a big Antonio Gibson fan, and so I believe in his talent. I believe in his ability to make plays. And so, like you said, I think you said the key phrase, get out of his own head. I think it is something that is plaguing him mentally right now, because a lot of his fumbles, and this is the point that I've been trying to make, it's not a lot of, somebody coming and just punching it out. A lot of it is him going to the ground and not securing the football on the way down, almost like he's bracing his fall. And I think that's where you see that wide receiver background, where he's not used to being in traffic, in close, quarters, and securing the football. When you get tackled out in space, nobody's trying to punch at the ball at the last second. You're just trying to brace your fall. So I think that's something that he's got to really kind of hone in on, keep that ball high and tight and not worry about trying to brace his fall. But Antonio Gibson is a game breaker. I actually was really excited about the idea of him just being a weapon, like Cordero Patterson. Like, I was really kind of looking forward to that. And I was a huge, hey, give him another chance guy. Like, he's going to be okay. But the thing that Brian Robinson brings to the table is he keeps the offense on schedule. Like, with that physical nature that he runs with, the ability to fall forward, making that first guy miss, just sheer physicality, he would take a 2-yard run and make it a 5-yard run. He would take a 3-yard run, make it a 7-yard run. He would take a 5-yard run, make it a 9 or 11-yard run. And that I can't begin to describe how big of a difference it is to have 2nd and 5 instead of 2nd and 8, or 3rd and 3 instead of 3rd and 6. And that's what Brian Robinson does for your offense, is he keeps you on schedule. And so I need Gibson to take note and say, hey, look, I would love the 72-yard run, but you know what I also would like? I would like this 5-yard run on first down to make it 2nd and 5. Instead of you running, tiptoeing in, and it's 2nd and 9 now, or 2nd and 10, or 2nd and 11.
Especially because Scott Turner gonna call the same fucking play on every 2nd and long. It's shotgun zone. Every goddamn time on 2nd and long, we run a goddamn shotgun zone run play. It gets another yard, and then we're on 3rd and 7. We're on 3rd and long every time we put ourselves in a have to pass situation. So it matters so much to have a north to south runner. What are you expecting from Gibson to start the year, now that he's back in the lead role until we get that Bama boy ready?
Hey, man, I mean, for obvious reasons, I want Antonio Gibson to be the best player on the team. He just has to hold on to the ball, of course. And first of all, I agree wholeheartedly with everything Louis T said. I feel like he can be somewhat of that Cordero Patterson role, or Brian Robinson being somewhat of a Mark Ingram, and Antonio Gibson being somewhat of an Alvin Kamara. Like Louis T said, just like the 80-yard screen against the Bills, that's fantastic. But we need you to be more consistent and give us more every down potential than that, every down production than that. But I love his potential. He does things that nobody else can do. Love Brian Robinson, love JD McKissic, but Antonio Gibson has the ability to do things those guys can't do. And we can't forget the fact that he was one of 7 running backs to rush for 1,000 yards last year. Now, granted, I think it's going to be difficult for him to do that this year because I think we're going to throw the ball a lot. Brian Robinson is going to eat into his carries, and I think he's going to be featured a lot into the pass game. Like we saw in that preseason game against the Chiefs, it was a Taylor Heineke, Antonio Gibson, and Cam Sims show on that drive.
Right.
Nobody could stop Antonio Gibson in the open field, and I think if we give him the ball like that in the open field, he can do the same thing to other team starters. I just don't see why he wouldn't be able to. So I'm really excited about his potential. Just literally has to hold on to the ball. That's it.
Hey, and if you were lucky enough to have grabbed Antonio late as hell in fantasy, bruh, good for you for the first few weeks of the season because you got you an RB1 a lot later than expected. T. Roberts, shout out to the 499 Super. He said, I wouldn't mind up picking Tease Tabor from Florida. He's from the area. I would mind it because Tease Tabor has the foot speed of a fucking sloth. Like man's ran like a 4.9 40. Like I'm cool. Man's got cement feet. Like
I love Florida negativity. I love Florida. Keep it coming. Florida negativity. Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Yes.
We need dudes on the roster, but I'm good, bro.
Hey, you ain't lied about a damn thing just now.
any takers for Tease Tabor?
Oh man, that is funny.
I'm not interested. Y'all interested in Tease Tabor in DC?
I'm good. You said everything that needed to be said, bro.
Perfectly fine, bro. Mike said, love all you guys' content. Keep up the great work. Redskins fan living in Temple. Shout out to you, man.
Hey,
Texas,
you,
man. You guys are the bomb. Jamarcus Robinson last week, a 5-year player from KC, he's playing against our scrub. Harbaugh wants that right. It's kind of weird, this fixation they have on these preseason games. Jay said we need to wear burgundy. I'm not sure what happened to the burgundy jersey shipment. Maybe they're on the ocean, but I don't think it was scheduled for them to wear white every preseason game, considering that they put out the jersey schedule. We're wearing white next week versus Jacksonville, by the way. I think we're wearing white on burgundy again. I don't know what happened to the burgundy jerseys or if the black jerseys have even been manufactured yet because they sure aren't available for purchase. But hopefully, I think we'll be seeing the burgundy for the first time in week 2 versus the Detroit Lions. And my boy Tim said, do not sleep on J.D. McKissic either. Oh, no, J.D. McKissic, that offense came and died with him last year when he got hurt. When he got hurt, it looked real stagnant and it looked real scary out there for Taylor when JD got hurt. Can JD's role evolve more, especially now for the first few weeks that we're going to be without B-Rob? Like, JD, what can we expect for? Oh, yeah, and another thing, he needs a statue because this man turned down a Super Bowl favorite to come back here. For that alone, fucking legend. Lou.
Love JD McKissic, man. And I don't know if his role will change significantly. I think they know what he is, and he's one of the best third down backs in all of football. And so I think he's going to be huge for Carson Wentz. We saw a little bit of that in the Carolina preseason game, him finding him underneath. And that was a huge, play to help them score that touchdown. I think he's going to have a solid role. But again, I harken back to Carson Wentz having Nyheim Hines last year. It's kind of similar to that. So I think his role won't change all that much with Brian Robinson being out. Really, JD's the guy that he's got a fixed role in this offense. No matter what's going on around him, he's pretty much going to keep the same role. So I think his role will probably remain the same.
All right, yeah. JD.
Yeah, I agree. Because first of all, as of today, he's still our best pass blocking running back, so it's hard to keep him off of third downs for that situation alone. Which is still odd because Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson are way bigger, way stronger. So there's no excuses for those guys to not at least become parallel to him in pass blocking production. But love the fact that he does that. I mean, really his only problem is that he tackles himself. Other guys can't tackle him.
Yeah.
He missed the spin move, missed the juke move, but it's just some phantom 12th defender out there that we don't see that keeps bringing him down.
Always.
It's the same ghost that brought Ryan Grant down every time he caught the ball or ran a route when he was here. Ryan Grant Gruden, his whole tenure in DC was spent falling on routes and falling when the ball touched his hand. But nah, there's no reason to ever sleep on JD here. Absolutely. And I just checked my DMs on IG. I see Luck how he got Lou with the troll. He sent me some pictures from the chat.
He got the screenshot. He got the
screenshot. Yeah.
Why we so petty? Why we so petty?
I told you he was trying to get you. I couldn't let you go out like that, man. He was really trying to get you.
Real one. Real one. He ate the bullet for you.
Lou is definitely clutch for it. What up, my boy Pedro? How you doing, my guy? Hope VTech is treating you well out there, man. But before I let y'all go, we have a real game next week versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, a new and improved Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is starting to look the part of the guy that we expected in preseason games. The placement's better. He looks like he's very familiar with the offense, and they've upgraded all around the roster. What do you expect next Sunday? And are we all predicting dubs to start the season? If not, then it's gonna be a long fucking year, my guy. Who like either take it away, either of y'all, and I'll finish it off before we close this out.
I'll go ahead and go. So I think we win. I think it'll be closer than we would comfortably like. I think it's actually going to probably even be within a touchdown. I think Trevor Lawrence is only getting better. He's only going to get more confident. I'm actually happy we're catching them week one. It's a new regime, new defensive coordinator. They're still trying to work some things out, working Christian Kirk into the offense. They let Laviska Shenault go. They let got the other receiver go. It's a lot of transitions for them. Travis Etienne didn't play last year. James Robinson was even hurt at times. So week one was the best time to catch these guys, honestly. And I think we can win mostly because of that with a lot of transitions. But at the same time, they have one of the best linebacker groups as far as potential and talent goes in the league from what I've seen. They got the linebacker from the Falcons that they picked up. My boy Trevon Walker on the outside. Foyer. Josh Allen technically as well as an outside linebacker. They picked up our Chad Muma that a lot of us wanted. That linebacker group is insane. And we need to scheme against that, man. Devin Lloyd, should be one of the better potential blitzing running backs. So Antonio Gibson needs to be ready to pass block because that guy's coming up the middle. So that linebacker group is probably what concerns me the most. But again, I think we'll win, especially since we have some adjustments to make as well. But I feel like catching them at week one was a better opportunity than them catching us week one.
Hell yeah. And it's a similar situation to last year where we caught Justin Herbert coming off an impressive rookie season, and we're catching Trevor Lawrence coming off a not impressive, but didn't have a chance to thrive under Urban Meyer's shit show that he was running amok down in Jacksonville and Duval County last year. Lou, how do you feel about this week one game, man?
I'm nervous as hell.
Man,
as hell because I know what this could mean. Like, just put the fan base aside, because if we lose the game, we're going to be 1-16, right? Like, the season's over. But just from a standpoint of, like, mentally, like, this to me, I've said this already, I think this is a double-digit win year for us. If we can stay relatively healthy and Wentz is what we think he can be. Just looking at the schedule gives me 2020 vibes. But in order to get to double-digit wins, you got to win the games that you're supposed to win. I've always said that we look like food on everybody else's schedule. Jacksonville thinks they're going to win 8-9 games. Guess what? They're counting us as a win. Detroit thinks they're going to have a better season. They're winning 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Guess what? They're counting us as a win in week 2. So they're looking at us like food. We're looking at them like food. Somebody's got to eat. I'm saying we got to find a way to eat the Jacksonvilles and the Detroits and the Chicagos and the Texans and the Falcons. We got to win those football games. Like, you have to find a way to beat the teams on the schedule that look like they are supposed to be beaten. Now, we don't know who's going to be good, who's not going to be good. And to Rico's point, I love that we're getting them in week 1. I absolutely love it because I think the longer the season wears on, they're going to become more and more confident and understanding what Doug Peterson's looking for from them. And they're going to become a hard team to deal with. So I'm glad we're getting ours out of the way early. I do think it's going to be a close game. I would love nothing more than to win this thing comfortably, fourth quarter.
Oh my God, it would be so nice.
So, you know, we never get that, right? We always at the edge of our seat, hoping to get a defensive stop, or all right, man, you know, last drive we got to have this field goal, or whatever the case may be. It'd be nice. This is the thing I fear the most, right? This is the shit that I get nervous about. Jacksonville, we win the toss. We defer to the second half. We kick the bitch off to Jacksonville.
And they go right down that
11 plays, 75-yard drive. Trevor Lawrence is 3 of 3 on third downs. And you're like, ah! You know, so it's 7-0. All right, so we get the rock. All right, let's answer. And we go 3 and out. Then we kick the bitch off, and then they go down, and then we hold them to a field goal, and it's 10-0. Late stages of the first, and you're like, what the man? We down 10, 2 scores to Jacksonville. Like, that's the shit that I worry about the most.
I'm right with you.
I'm so nervous.
That's triggering, bro. That's triggering as hell.
That's what we do. That's our move. Start season slow. Start game slow. So I hope we avoid that, man. Like, that's the thing that I'm kind of like, yo, please don't do this to me. But ultimately, I think we're going to win the game as well. I'm right there with Rico. I think it's going to be a closer game than I'm comfortable with, but I do think we find a way to win.
I would love to win like 27-13. Something comfortable.
Absolutely.
Two possessions would be great for my heart, my mind, my body. I don't want to feel cardiac arrest in week 1 of the season, because last year it was absolutely demoralizing. I was standing there at FedEx Field, 98 degrees outside. Motherfuckers had me drinking tequila at 9 a.m. before I ate breakfast, and I'm not a drinker. I do not drink. And I watched Justin Herbert just walk the ball down the field like it was a joint practice on the first possession of the game. And it was just like, God damn, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. And then 20 minutes later, the guy we just paid $10 million to be our quarterback, he breaks his damn hip. And within 30 minutes of game time, we've got walked up the field on, we done lost the quarterback, and we had done nothing to that point on offense. And that shit can feel so demoralizing.
I'm telling you, you want a crowd to go silent real quick? That's the way to do it right there, man. That's the thing I fear the most. Look, I don't know what kind of crowd it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? But I know Jacksonville is not going to come in and take over the stadium. It's Jacksonville, right? So I'm thankful for that. But I'm like, dude, can we get off to a good start? Like, that would be so nice, but it's so not like us. So we'll see, man. I'm hoping that this new name, new jerseys, you know, end zones will be painted differently.
Fresh air.
Like, I'm just hoping they just, like, it's a whole new script.
Lean into it. Lean into the new shit, and let's provide some new shit on the field. Appreciate Meta for the $199. Now, we talked about this earlier. We all agree that the offense is going to be the unit that leads the team this year. We all see that. What's up to Taylor, Mike? Shout out to my guy, Doge 3Ms. Kibo said, I'm already bald. Rest of y'all better hold on to your hairlines this season. Hey, it's hard, man. My shit just got a rejuvenation. But what about Carson? Does he ever – what happened to him last year in Jacksonville? Carson would be all right, because the same shit that happened to him in Jacksonville last year happened to the previous 5 quarterbacks of the Colts, because they ain't beat the Jags in Jacksonville in 6 years. But we like to paint it like Carson the only quarterback that went up there and lost. We didn't think the Chargers would have fans in the stadium, so we will see. They did have some fans up there, but that's all I got for right now, man. We just going to keep it at a nice hour, 12-minute stream. I've got one more super before we go. Let's talk O-line. No surprises on who they kept. Did any of you think they'd keep 10 instead of 9? I'd say Wes Martin and Aaron Martero are prime practice squad candidates. Hurt Ishmael was on IR. After Ishmael gets off IR, I need him to get off the roster, because he has no purpose here. He has no fucking purpose here at all. And we are stacking right now. We're stacking up some super. So y'all gonna stay a little bit longer than y'all expected. These linemen, Martin and Montero, practice squad candidate. Are you cool with us keeping 10 instead of 9?
Yeah, I thought it would be 10 initially, with Ishmael sneaking on, and once Brian Robinson had this situation, I trimmed it back down to 9. And honestly, they brought Wes Martin in. When Ron said Wes Martin, they brought him back because he's stout. I said, oh shit, Keith, peace. It's good knowing you, bro. Because he stay getting driven back, in the backfield. So I was like, okay, that means Wes is gonna be here on the practice squad, and Keith is probably gone. So not shocked. Aaron Montero did a bang up job against the Chiefs, but yeah, he practice squad again. Nobody's checking for Aaron Montero. You put him on the practice squad with the new rules. You can pull him up anytime you need. So yeah, 9 sounds about right.
Man, when they said his name in the lineup, I was like, who the fuck is Aaron Montero? I didn't know who the fuck. I had to check the roster. Like, they saying his name right? Because they was definitely botching shit.
Did you see the Chiron against the Ravens with Eric Flowers is number 7?
That was crazy.
Man, God damn.
That was
what
crazy.
are you doing?
They had in their backups too, man. The camera crew, everybody had their backups in, man. Everybody took a day off.
Even the damn TV station had their backups in.
Everybody had the backups in. Charles Davis at one point didn't have his mic on when they were already everybody was cooling, man. They took a week off. Man.
The refs was definitely the scrub. Those are the replacement refs of years past. Those the guys, the touchdown, incompletion, interception guy. Those guys. Those are the replacement refs. But Rico, you cool with the amount of linemen we kept?
Yeah, I think if anything, it just shows the confidence and the health of a lot of our guys. Because I like Aaron Montero as an offensive lineman, but like Lou said, nobody's checking for him. Even the fact that we just got him out of nowhere from. I don't even know when we picked him up. He was just suddenly starting.
I know nothing about him.
So it's just like when losing him, it wouldn't matter if we lost him, but I'm pretty sure he'll make it onto the practice squad anyway. No other team wants him. But again, my main point is the fact that we kept 9 instead of 10 shows that they're confident that Wes Schweitzer, Chase Roulier, Trey Turner, and Andrew Norwell are healthier than what a lot of fans believe.
All I know is Sadiq Charles better prove some type of worth this year, or him and Keith Ishmael need to kick rocks immediately, expeditiously when the season ends. Shout out to Cherish Me 202, always holding it down. Says stopping by. Rio with the raw and uncut funny commentary. Lou for keeping us level-headed and logic thinking. Rico always coming through with the news faster than everybody. Shout out to the women of Washington. Shout out to y'all, women of Washington, and the females in this fan base. For all you men that go out to the games, have a good time out there, bro, because they be out there. I'm telling you this right now, bro. Them women be at them games, bro. It's a good scene out there. Lots of prospects and talent out there. Get out to a game and have you a good time if you a single man, if you know what I'm saying. And Door Gunner with the last super, he said, what up? Can't wait to fly up from Miami for the opener. Tired of these slow start to season. Free Ramon, Lou.
Hey man, we had these discussions already, man. Like Ramon been gone, man, but he sprung a whole bunch of offspring, and so it's a lot here, man. Y'all know what it is.
Malcolm Butler at corner. Any takers?
If I'm not mistaken, he just got hurt.
Yeah, that's why. I think he was on IR and then got cut. Yeah.
That sucks when that happens that way, bro. To get injured and then to get cut right after that shit. Schedule breakdown for the NFC, all teams. We're going to have to do that on the next one. My plan is to try to get these fellas on the show at least once a month for us to get together and congregate. And we're going to probably need some group therapy sessions because this team never lets us live a normal life between September and January. But I appreciate you boys for pulling up on me and keeping the vibes excellent per usual and bringing your expertise to my channel. Everybody knows where to find y'all, but let them know just in case they don't. Lou.
Louis T Network on YouTube, just about everywhere. You type in Louis T Network on Twitter at Louis T Network, on IG Louis T Network _ again, y'all know what it is. You know the vibes. Come check us out. Post up and take command all day, every day, man. I'm looking towards having a big season, and hopefully y'all will be a part of that. So appreciate you for giving me the platform, Rio.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me. And Rico, before we go, let them know.
Yes, sir. You find me on YouTube, Street Scores, STREET space SCORES. Of course, on Twitter, Street Scores ATL. Super excited about football. Of course, I will be live streaming during games and have the post-game call-in shows afterwards as well. I'm about to be in New York, so I'm working on some content to get out while I'm gone, and then I'll be back for the regular season, of course. And also, to Red Wings' point, 420 viewers, definitely need to get those likes up because that's crazy. Mm-hmm. And also, I saw in the comments chat earlier that people saying we should pick up my boy Pac-Man Jones. Now, granted, he would be my favorite player on the team the day he steps on, but he's not going to be able to do anything.
And he's a great podcaster right now, bro. Let him be great on the show.
Yeah, let my dog work, man. So, hey, man, I, just to have somebody like him on the team would just be hilarious, especially for like the show during the summer with the training camp footage.
Oh my God, the mic'd up shit and all that.
Yeah, all of that type of stuff, man. I would absolutely love that, but he's not going to contribute anything at corner for us right now. Not at this point.
Hell yeah, my man said, remember to hit that lick button. I hope you hit that like button, unless we on freaky, you on freaky time in Japan right now.
He might be on some other time.
I don't know what they're doing in Japan right now, but definitely smash that like button. Appreciate my guys for coming through, for always keeping real content on your channels and inspiring a guy like me to get on my content journey as we push toward 5,000 subscribers. I'm about 240 subscribers away. We got one more super and we out. Real talk. We got an after party going on in the Discord. Everyone is welcome. Come through. Appreciate the live salute. Salute to all of y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Almost at 5K. Week 1, Washington W. Speaking into existence. Hail to the Commanders. We out.